This episode of the Grand Rising Show was brought to you by Autochthonous Assembly, where the real work gets done. Autochthonous Assembly is a gathering of the minds that do the work. Now, for many of our first-time subscribers and first-time visitors, you may be wondering who Autochthonous Assembly are. You can find this information about our mission statement and our core values on the website at autochthonousassembly.com/about. We are a nonprofit organization dedicated to raising up Indigenous American voices by using genealogy, also known as family history, or your family tree, which is the study of families and the tracing of their lineages and history. Genealogists use oral interviews, historical records, genetic analysis, and other records to obtain information about a family and to demonstrate kinship and pedigrees of its members. Our core values are the foundation of our company, which is essential to our success and serve as a lens through which we evaluate every business decision. Those core values are, but are not limited to, integrity, which is knowing and doing what is right; respect, which is treating others the way you want to be treated; responsibility, which is embracing opportunities to contribute; and servant leadership, which is serving the common good. Now, at Autochthonous Assembly, we have a couple of goals here. And our first goal and foremost of the reason why we do everything that we do is to ensure that we help you do your genealogy and connect back to your tribe and find out where you are from. Everything that we do from the standpoint of the Grand Rising Show and all the information that's posted on the website is dedicated to that one specific purpose: helping you find your genealogy, find your relatives, find your family so that you will know exactly who you are. And if you choose to, tie back into your tribe, whether that tribe is a Native American tribe, an American Indian tribe, whether it's allowing you to determine which house in Africa that you belong to, or what clan of Scandinavia or Europe or France that you belong to. Either way, our goal is to do just that: help you find out who you are so you know exactly where to start. We are not here to tell you who you are, and we're not here to tell you who you are not. We're just here to help you discover your beginnings. Another one of our missions is to help you become financially independent so that you can help your generations for the next 7 generations and be able to put a stable foundation for you and your relatives. And if you should choose to use this information that we provide free of charge to help not only yourself, but your community and your tribe, then we will do everything in our power to make sure that gets done as well. And remember, our goal here is to make sure that we help you get exposed to this information to put you in the best situation possible. So now what I'm going to do now is return it back over to the panel to see if there was anything I missed, and I will go ahead and get set up so we can get ready and get digging into this information. Panel, take it away.
Warning, warning, warning. Hard hats, pickaxe, shovels, boots required.
Grand Rising. Grand Rising. Hope everyone's doing well this rising. What's the day? Tuesday? Or was it Wednesday? It's Tuesday, I think. So what's going on with everybody?
All is well, no complaints. Grand Rising, everyone. Peace, peace, peace.
Grand Rising, everyone.
Y'all sound like today is Monday or something. What's going on? Is it raining where y'all at? Just checking. I mean, it might be.
No, but we got that feel of it.
It's a gloomy day.
Yeah. Like,
Did he just draw it out? Alright. Fair enough. Fair enough. So how about we do this? Let's go ahead and give everybody in the chat a shout out and say Grand Rising peace to all of the subscribers. What do we call them? Subscribers or registrants? I mean, because we're not on YouTube. So, what are they? Registrants? What's the term we call them? People that register.
Good question. I thought about it.
Okay. Anyway, we're gonna call them subscribers for now. So we'll come up with a new term later. So yeah, Grand Rising and peace to the new subscribers. Not only the new subscribers on the website, but also the new subscribers on YouTube, because we're still getting people subscribing on YouTube. So we appreciate your feedback. We appreciate you letting us know what's going on in your community. And Bones, we gotta do a community spotlight sooner than later. But you got one coming up, so we'll be good. What else? Oh, peace and shout out to the Tactics Assembly Silent Majority. Those of you that are just listening and send that information in to us, letting us know what's going on in your community. So we definitely appreciate you and what you do. So peace, Grand Rising, hope all is well, and to the best chat on earth. Whether you're chatting in the website global chat or whether you're chatting in the YouTube chat, we definitely appreciate you and all you do. And yeah, let's go ahead and get this roll call going. Let me pull it up right quick. Alright, so here we go. Grand Rising Bones, Grand Rising Big Nelson, Grand Rising Big Hawk, Grand Rising Celestial Love, Grand Rising Dat Boy Wig, Grand Rising EJ Coppertone, Grand Rising Feathered Dragon, Grand Rising Joe 47, Grand Rising Macadam 1, Grand Rising Mr. TJ, aka Ratchet Man, Grand Rising Muskogee G, Grand Rising Oak Cliff Tiff, Grand Rising Pamela Hall, Grand Rising Powelton 9, Grand Rising Tiny Ofo, Grand Rising Whitewater Rider, and Grand Rising Nature's Void. So it's interesting because you got Oak Cliff Tiff and you got Pamela Hall, both of them signed in around the same time by two favorite foremans. You got the foreman that is titled, that I title, hashtag my favorite foreman named Pamela Hall, and then Oak Cliff, who is the Reed foreman. She makes sure everybody doing what they're supposed to do. So, welcome. Appreciate all y'all. And of course, Grand Rising to the panel, Grand Rising to the Tactics Assembly crew, Do Division, Copper Indio, Carrie Bay, LJ Free, No Sellout, who's in the chat but he's not on the panel. So get up in the panel. Gabby Gabs, and yeah, Bones. So, oh yeah, and also shout out to Danielle Jeffers. I'm done for the grease. And if I missed anybody else, we're gonna blame Gabby because she the one that got me started doing all this stuff. So,
You miss David Corey. You miss Carrie. And you miss Joe 47.
I said Carrie, but anyway, go ahead. Peace, Joe 47.
Oh, no, I'm letting you do it. It's you.
Peace, David. Really, you gonna let me bounce?
Okay, I'll be quiet. Why you always gotta tell all this? Always tell it.
You told on yourself. Bones can hear you. Everybody can hear you.
Yeah, but he's not saying nothing. Now you gonna stick bones on me. I'm going on mute.
Grand Rising, Michael Harris Brown Cheek. Grand Rising, Mayan Sun 0911. I'm missing a whole bunch of people messing around. See, y'all messing around and got me off my routine. My apologies for everyone that I missed. Please charge it to my head, not my heart. So, everybody good? Everything working well?
Yep.
Okay. Oh, that explains a lot.
Just leading off to a whole other week.
What is the first day of winter is what, the 20th of December?
Yeah, somewhere around there, they say.
Okay, just checking. I don't know why it feels like it should be earlier. It just feels like it should be earlier. It's one of them
You're
days.
talking about the first day of winter as far as what they put on the calendar?
Yeah.
How they... okay.
Yeah, that.
Oh. Yeah, I usually go by that first cold the size of oysters.
What you say about some oysters?
Well, okay, so I can tell, for me, I go by winters here when oysters are big and summer's here when crabs are big, if that makes sense.
Okay. So oysters get big in the winter?
Yeah.
Good to know. Cool. Alright. So let's see. So we are still on Cavalry, 10th Cavalry. We're finishing up on the 10th Cavalry today. And we're covering the late Cold War. And what I found to be interesting, based off of what Nature's Boy said, it's freezing where he's at. What I found to be interesting is that the Buffalo Soldiers units are still active to this day. They've just been usurped and been replaced. And that's, I guess for lack of a better term, that's a little disheartening because of so much work that they've done and the fact that people are, people, let's just say the powers that be, the government. I don't even know what they call these people anymore. They're just hiding our ancestors' contributions, if that makes sense. That's all. So, you know when something gets way past that annoying point. So yeah, that's where I'm at right now. It'll subside, but it's one of them days where I'm just sick and tired of everything and everybody that ain't doing right. So that's it. So forgive the energy, y'all. We're gonna pick it up. We definitely gonna pick it up. So what we learned yesterday is that Gabby don't want to read no more, and I'm just playing.
Gabby.
No, that is not true. Don't put that on me. What it is, it's not that I don't want to read anymore. It's that you'll make sure you don't read.
Excuse me, I always read the extensions. I always read the links. So what you mean I don't read? I always read.
I didn't say you didn't read. Where did you get that from? I didn't say you don't read.
You do realize this is recorded, right? So all I gotta do is run it back. You said I'd make sure that I don't ever read. That's what you said.
Wait a minute. So if it's recorded, that means you can run back yesterday. You can hear how you started reading. You cut off, and I started reading. And you jumped back in as though you never lost place and said stop.
Yeah, I told you there was noise in the background. I'm not disputing any of that. Not disputing any of that, but I did end up reading the 2 paragraphs that you were supposed to read. See how that worked?
No.
Oh, okay. Proof is not a problem, partner. Participate, don't procrastinate. Please.
You got to put the double P.
You know what? Direction reflects leadership. So I follow your lead. How you read.
Really? Is this what we're doing?
Just like that?
This week. Y'all hear that chat, right? You hear that? Y'all heard her, right? Y'all heard her. So we gonna see. Gonna see. In the words of Gabby Gaz, that's what your lip drip. Your words, they gonna come back and bite you.
You know what? I don't have to take it.
You right. You grown. You ain't gotta take it.
I have to take this.
Big Hawk says y'all doing pizza math out there.
Pizza math?
I don't know. I just looked up and saw that.
I guess that means like the slices on a pizza, that's how we're slicing up the paragraphs in a...
Joe 47 said, don't sell out, just stop reading altogether. I told you he promoted himself. He got a promotion. Ain't nobody know about it. So it's a conscious assembly featuring Don't Sell Out. You know, like Maze featuring Frankie Beverly. Yeah. Wait till we get back in the chat. I know I'm gonna catch it. It's okay though. I deserve it. It's all good. So let's go ahead and hit this clock so we can go ahead and get started. Get this information to the peoples. Hopefully it helped them unclog some things when it comes to their genealogy. Let's go. Alright, y'all know what it is. It's time to get it in. I'm putting a link in the chat before I get yelled at again. Like I
don't see the link in the chat. What happened?
Like what happened yesterday. I mean,
But see, I wasn't saying it to be like, aggressive or like a bully. I was saying it. Okay, so like I was saying it like Damu. We'll put the link in the chat. No. Okay.
Big Hawk says, you know how people count how many pieces you ate to see who gets the last slice. The way I do it is, if I bought the pizza, I'm gonna get the last slice. There ain't gonna be no more pizza.
Oh, well, if you buy the pizza, I'm gonna cut the last slice in half so you can have the last slice.
Yeah, I'm hiding all the utensils.
You got to rip it. No.
Mm-hmm. Mm-mm. Not even. So we're talking about the late Cold War. And it's just interesting to see how they do all this. Because what we're going to be covering next, we're going to be covering the 24th and the 25th Cavalry. And then we're going to go into the Spanish-American War, right, Bones? I mean, the Spanish-Indian War, right?
But it's kind of amazing for some Indians that were supposed to be dead from smallpox still around as Buffalo soldiers.
Why you gotta be so petty? Why you gotta be petty?
I'm just saying.
Why you gotta be petty gated today, man? You had to bring out the petty gated.
They did a whole lot.
To be 200 years past due of life. Now they supposed to been dead for 200 years. Where they come from?
If they ain't get the message, somebody ain't CC it to them.
You know, it's crazy because I thought the Cold War had everything to do with Russia.
Well, we can look up what the Cold War actually was about.
No, I'm just saying. I'm okay.
No, I'm agreeing with you. I'm not disagreeing with you because I mean it's a good point. Yeah, I'm agreeing. I'm not.
I'm just saying, like everything that I remember being told in high school and college had, like, whenever the Cold War was brung up, it all evolved. Like everything, it was about Russia. That's what. Oh.
More likely, it was the USSR.
Right.
You remember that in Russia are two separate things.
Okay.
See, that's that Bones history. See, Bones got that extended history. You know, he got to travel abroad. That don't mean, you know, he was only talking to women's. Y'all get that later on the way home. Hey, mind your business. It's mind your business. It's mind your business. Yeah, and then his traveling required a passport. I'm sure he had a license. I'm just saying.
Correct nature's void question everything.
Everything and everybody. So I'm going to look at, since I've been accused of not wanting to read, I'm going to go ahead and read the Cold War.
Can I read this part first? Because I see your stops coming up.
What? Hold on, wait, what? What are we doing? Is she projecting? Is she projecting? Are you anticipating the brakes? We hitting the brakes?
Absolutely. Like I've already read through, like all the way through it. Yeah, I see your stops coming up. I want to read first. Please and thank you.
Why are you laughing, Bob? That ain't funny. I mean, it is, but it's not. It'll be funny in 10 minutes. It's just not funny now. Alright. Fine then. Let me go ahead and share my screen. This is what we doing.
And it just skipped my ear.
What, 1850 and 59 ain't up there?
I was still born after you. You was born in 1850, so what?
Haters gonna hate. Haters gonna hate.
That is my birthday.
In the words of Oak Cliff, read.
Okay. Because Oak Cliff said read, I'm reading. Okay. Last Cold War. 1st Squadron, 10th Cavalry, 10th Cavalry, with the 4th Infantry Division participated in Exercise Reforger in 1977, 1978, 1981, 1985, 1987, and 1991. The Exercise Reforger, just putting my cursor over it, was an annual exercise and campaign conducted during the Cold War by NATO. The exercise was intended to ensure that NATO had the ability to quickly deploy forces to West Germany in the event of a conflict with a Warsaw Pact.
Stop. Did you see that one coming?
Yep.
Dang. I gotta work a little bit harder now. I see your stops coming. Whatever. I don't care. I'm reading the chat right quick and it says, Joe Foy says, man, teammates, don't let Gab bully you. Too late. You know, so I'm not too late. She's already the biggest bully on the block. Just be blasting them.
Don't do that.
You said don't do that?
They know your address, not mine.
I mean, bullies don't have addresses. They just go around taking other people's addresses. Addresses, lunch money. They just be straight deboing.
Alright.
B stands for bully. Anyway, talks about these, the 1st Squadron, 10th Cavalry, participated in the exercise Reforger, 77, 78, 81, 85, 87, and 91. Return of the forces to Germany. Wow. So it was an annual exercise during the Cold War by NATO. It was ensured that NATO had the ability to quickly deploy forces to West Germany in the event of a conflict with the Warsaw Pact. Excuse me. So let me ask y'all this question. This is supposed to be a Cold War, right? And this is supposed to be in the event that they need to redeploy forces over into Germany in the event that there's a conflict. What country lets another country use their military to have exercise and practice on their turf? Can somebody ask me that? Because
ask that again.
What country allows another country to go into their backyard and play war games as if they own the spot? Meaning, when was the last time you seen Germany come over here doing any exercises in our backyard?
Right.
Or France, or Spain, or anybody. Why is it we can always go to somebody else's backyard and do exercises, but don't nobody come on our yard to do exercises? Military exercises, that is.
It was a ploy.
Yeah, this Warsaw Treaty is really interesting.
No, it was a ploy. You had powers that was part of the USSR that wanted to go a different direction.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at it, the U.S. and them worked together to oust the communist regime. The USSR get broken up. Remember, the USSR was the Soviet Union. That doesn't exist anymore. That got disbanded in 1991, and the countries went back to being independent countries. Russia, Yugoslavia, Ukraine. Remember, at one time, all this was considered the USSR, the Soviet Union.
Yeah.
It lasted from 1922, if I'm correct, 1922 to 1991, if I remember correctly.
So
basically, the Iran-Contra thing, selling weapons back and forth, the U.S. pushing Russia to go to war with Afghanistan, where the USSR to go to Russia with Afghanistan, made them go financially broke. They couldn't hold on to the other countries and had to break up. Berlin Wall came down, democracy so-called won, boo-hoo. Oliver North, all that stuff, yeah.
So, would I be right in thinking it sounds like it was a war that basically circled back around? Like, I couldn't beat you then, but let me.
No, it wasn't even a war. What it was is politically strategies, making strategies and stuff. Because at this time you had members of the USSR going rogue, jumping ship, coming to America. Everybody probably heard of one of the movies and the books, The Hunt for the Red October.
Yeah.
About the sub captain and the sub that came over to the United States.
Yeah.
At this time, you had a lot of people that didn't want to be under communist rule.
Okay.
So at this time, they were jumping ship, coming over to America. Then America having influence to help restructure what Russia is today.
Okay.
You know, that's something we hadn't looked at. We looked at people coming over in the late 1800s, but we didn't look at how many people came over in the early 1900s and late 1900s. Because
you had a lot more Germans and Russians coming during the 1900s.
Let me see how many more came. Because in the early 1900s, the government was still dealing with our ancestors from the standpoint of treaties and still taking land and putting them on reservations and moving them about. Because remember, the transportation, not the transportation bill, but the second removal, we call what is known as the Second Removal Act, which basically was the Urban Renewal Act, is when they moved all of the businesses out of our communities and forced our ancestors in basically into the projects. That was a Second Removal Act. I don't know if people are aware of that.
Yep.
Wait, what was it called? Because I didn't know that.
Urban development or urban renewal in the 50s?
Yeah, urban renewal.
Okay. I remember Bones. Okay, hold on.
See, the problem is that word urban. When you hear that word urban, they talk about you.
Not you, us. That was us.
Oh, and it was a Housing Act passed in 1954.
Where they ran the interstates into our communities. Because you ever wonder why these interstates snake? They don't go straight. They snake them through our communities.
On purpose. Like I said, if you start stepping back and really looking at what it's about, it was about isolating us, separating us, breaking our communications with each other. They had to break up our close-knit structure, our natural way of doing things.
Yeah, there was 3 policies: the Housing Act of 1949, Housing Act of 1954, and Federal Aid Highway Act of 1956. Wow.
That's why you hear me say it, see a mate say it, multiple people from the panel say it. They keep talking law. No, you need to know the acts.
Yeah.
You keep saying what they can and can't do. You need to know the acts. You're going to be surprised. Them same acts, all it did was drove competition. What we did naturally and didn't compete for, basic needs as in shelter and food. By dividing these communities up, now you cause competition. There's limited resources in these areas. You split it in half, and now you make both sides fight against it. East against West. You know what I'm saying? They were sowing the seeds for this stuff to come.
I'm gonna put this link in the chat. I won't even.
The majority of the major damages that was done to us happened between the 1900s to the 1940s. We can even, 1950s, we can extend it to. The majority of, them acts between them years.
So according to, let me do this, and I'll put this link in the chat. There was an additional 500,000 Germans that came to the United States after World War II.
But you didn't like the Soviets, really?
So it says. So here's the Germans in America chronology. Now this is from the Library of Congress, Area Studies, European Division. So
you know it's documented. Sam. You know, it's very, very funny too, especially when you dive into history. We all know that the German scientists were the ones building rockets, and Germany was ahead of everybody with rockets, right? It's kind of funny. After the war, these German scientists come over here, and Germany haven't made a rocket since. But we got NASA.
Well, one of the telling stories, Hidden Figures, those women were responsible for the quote-unquote launching of the space shuttle. It takes the same amount of it takes the same amount, right? It takes the same amount of trajectory and information to launch a missile. Just so you know.
Say it again.
It takes the same type of mathematics and trajectory to launch a missile.
As in?
To launch a ship.
Oh, okay.
So then you ask. No, I ain't gonna go there.
Yeah, go there. Okay, just ask me. I won't tell nobody else. Just ask me.
No, Germans working with melanated people. Could they been melanated Germans, all of German ancestry?
Wait, what do you mean?
Okay, so you know how
Germans didn't work with any and everybody.
Right.
Their own, so their technology is getting out. Because see, Germans being in America isn't foreign to the Germans, especially when you know they've been here since the early 1700s, 1800s.
Okay.
Remember Benjamin Franklin's complaint about the swarthy Germans?
Yes.
Just because we don't know our ancestry don't mean they don't know our ancestry. Remember, they have access to our birth certificates. They have access to our records. They know who we are. When I say they, I'm talking about the government. The government knows who we are and who we're related to. Okay. Think about it. They have everybody's birth certificate. based on the state that you live in. They have access to all of the church records, the church documents. So they know who we are and who we come from. We just don't know. So wouldn't they also know, based off of records and history, who has German ancestry or swarthy German ancestry?
Yep. Think about it. When you're doing your genealogy, who are you going to get your information? The government.
Right.
You're going to the government to get the information to find out who you are. So who already know who you are? You getting your info from them. They've been taking censuses of you. What do you think Google is? That's just another form of census.
So when we talk about exactly, who was it put American descendants of Slavs? Because if you think about it, the first Slavs were swarthy. Ohio player, you're absolutely right. American descendants of Slavs, ADOS. They're not.
Yeah. See, these people, you have to realize, they taught us to look at the world in color. These people don't look at the world in color. They look at the world as their nation. The Olympics should remind everybody that. Because don't these same people can play for their home during the Olympics?
Mm-hmm.
Try to play for an African nation and see what happens.
So when we get so you can have a better picture, so we can show you what's going on from a visual standpoint. We know the definition of Slavs are, right?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
Okay.
You good. So you see the definition of Slavs.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I just put it in Wikipedia. Everything in green is where the Slav population is.
You said everything in green?
Everything in green is where the Slavic population is.
Correct, Oak Cliff. The Germans are the one that even created the education that you were given in school.
Everything in green.
Mm-hmm.
Take color off of the word Slav. Stop looking at it through the lens of color.
Yeah.
Because color had nothing to do with if you was a Slav. That had nothing to do with it. We already know that there were slaves sent here from Europe in different colors. That's not even a debate. We know this already. Benjamin Franklin put that to bed. We know this.
But when we start hearing the terms like German, Russian, and those other terminologies, we still have to understand that these people mix with our people. They were some of the ones that enslaved our people because they came over here first. These were the criminals that came over here and enslaved our people. Think about this. In order for us to even deal with them, they had to have looked like us. See, a lot of us are still under the impression that the first colonizers were white, and they were not.
It wouldn't make sense for you to send. It wouldn't make sense. Think about it. If we're sending people over here and the intention is to get the land, why would I send something foreign to these people? You wouldn't. Put yourself in the seat of the ruler. This is an investment you're making. This is money you're spending. Charters that you're writing, companies you're creating. You ain't putting that type of money. No. You're going to make sure you're going to send your best bet to get it. Okay, we need to send somebody over there so we can negotiate this deal. When you send somebody in to negotiate for you, send somebody in that's more relatable to the people you're negotiating with. Negotiating Chinese, I'm not finna have a Russian translator. No.
So this is a definition of Slavs. It says they're Indo-European people who speak the various Slavic languages of the larger Baltic Slavic linguistic group. They are native to Eurasia, Europe, and Asia. That's what Eurasia is, isn't it? Stretching from Central, Eastern, Southeastern Europe all the way north and eastward to Northeast Europe, Northern Asia, Siberia, and Central Asia, especially Kazakhstan and Turkmenistan, as well as historically in Western Europe, particularly in Eastern Germany and Western Asia, including Anatolia. From the early 6th century, they spread to inhabit the majority of Central, Eastern, and Southeastern Europe. Today, there is a large Slavic diaspora through North America, particularly in the United States and Canada, as well as a result of immigration. Slavs are the largest ethno-linguistic group in Europe, followed by Germanic peoples and Romance peoples. Present-day Slavic peoples are classified into East Slavs, chiefly Belarusians, Russians, Rusenes, Ukrainians; West Slavs, chiefly Czechs, Kashubs, Moldavians, Poles, Silesians, Slavics, and Sorbs; and South Slavs, chiefly Bosniaks, Bulgarians, Croats, Macedonians, Montenegrins, Serbs, and Slavens. It says Slavs can be further grouped by religion. Orthodox Christianity is practiced by the majority of Slavs. Orthodox Slavs include Belarusians, Bulgarians, Macedonians, Montenegrins, Russians, Rus, Serbs, Ukrainians, and are defined by Orthodox customs and Cyrillic script, as well as their cultural connection to the Byzantine Empire. Montenegrins and Serbs also use Latin script on equal terms. I'll repeat that part. Montenegrins and Serbs also use Latin script on equal terms. Their second most common religion is Roman Catholicism. The Catholic Slavs include Croats, Czechs, Kashubs, Moldavians, Poles, Silesians, Slavics, Slovenes, and Sorbs, and are defined by their Latinate influence and heritage and connection to Western Europe. There are also substantial Protestant and Lutheran minorities, especially among the West Slavs, such as historic Bohemian Czechs, Hussites. Then it says the second largest religion among Slavs after Christianity is Islam. Muslim Slavs include the Bosniaks, the Pomaks, Bulgarian Muslims, Gorani, Tobesai, Macedonian Muslims, and other Muslims of former Yugoslavia. Modern Slavic nations and ethnic groups are considerably diverse, both genetically and culturally, in relations between them. Even with the individual groups range from ethnic solidarity to mutual hostility. Now, let's look back at this map again. Now, in the 1750s, what's that man's name?
Benjamin Franklin.
Thank you. Ben was complaining about swarthy Germans coming over to the United States. Swarthy Germans. So if those swarthy Germans left here and then came here by way of here, wouldn't it be safe to say that the Germans that end up mixing with the Indians here would be related to the Germans that will be coming over again in the 1800s and the 1900s? That is possible, isn't it?
Yeah, because what did a lot of them believe in? Chain migration, coming to the Americas, setting up, and sending back for the rest of their people. See, if you follow the money at this time, Ireland alone seen over $250 million sent back because of immigration.
And I'm looking at how many Irish came over after the 1900s. The reason why that is because what you'll see the same story in the 1900s that happened in the 1800s. In order for these people to come over here, they had to be roommate. So you move people out in an established area, and you bring in people in who don't know the areas, so they have something already established.
Yeah, it goes in hand with the Great Migration, where over 6 million of us left the South and went to the cities. A lot of people from Mississippi and Louisiana, they went up to Detroit. A lot of people from the Carolinas and stuff, they went up to New Jersey and New York.
People from Louisiana went to Chicago.
Yeah, Chicago, them areas, leaving the gap in the South. Who do you think moved into these areas?
So I'm trying to see when did the Irish start coming over. And people forget that who was the one president that we had that was Irish Catholic? Y'all remember? John F. Kennedy.
Yep. But also look at this. You had your sets that came over. You're close to 15 million between 1820 and 1890. All right. These people come over, get established. They still got family over there in Europe. Who do you think are the people that's coming in the 1900s?
Their relatives.
Exactly. And as we moved out, the South, they brought their relatives in and started snatching up more areas of land and stuff. Because this at the time when they also start major mechanizing farming. A lot of our people leaving from out of Kansas, from out of all them areas. That's how a lot of these foreigners got to move in there to get farmland. A lot of us ran to the cities. I mean, when you do your genealogy, you'll see the pattern. You'll see the majority of your people in the South, and all of a sudden, in the 1900s, you'll see the migration of people leaving the South going to the North.
And according to the Irish immigration to America from 1630 to 1921, even all the way into 1914, the Irish potato famine was still happening. They were still bringing in immigrants. So I'm looking to see in the 1900s how many came over. Let me put this in the chat. So I'm gonna read from. I put this in chat for further review. Let's see. Okay, so I'm gonna read from here where it says Irish immigration, because we know by the 1890s it had already been about 7 million that came over here. So then it says by the 1890s, Irish immigrants to the United States were generally well below 50,000 per year. So hold on. By the 1890s, Irish immigrants to the United States were generally well below 50,000 per year. Even if it's 25,000 per year, that's a lot of people per year coming over, right? Because you talking about if it was 25,000 per year, that's still a million every 4 years. So in 2 years, you talking about 2 million people. I mean, in 8 years. And it says by the 1890s, Irish immigration to the United States was generally well below 50,000 per year, owing to improved economic conditions brought on by a series of British Island reform laws that established Irish tenants to buy their holdings, coupled with the fact that most of those who needed to depart and already left. Moreover, Irish nationalist politicians and clergy were increasingly worried that high immigration was robbing the country of its best and brightest that they wanted to retain at home to work for the cause of faith and fatherhood. As a result, do this. As a result, immigration was not encouraged as before. The fact this attitude was responsible for ending a well-organized scheme of government-assisted immigration for Connaught residents overseen in the early 1880s by James H. Turk, a Quaker who had worked in Ireland during the crisis of the 1840s. So it says, conclusion. Despite the declining rates of Irish immigration to the United States between 1880s and 1914, the political impact of the memory of hunger, starvation, evictions, and forced exodus of the 1940s and 50s among Irish immigrants, their children and grandchildren, reverberated over the years in widespread Irish American support for Irish nationalist movements, including the famines in the 1860s and the land war of 1879 through 1881, and various home rule campaigns, 1886, 1892, 1893, and 1912 and 14. Patrick Ford, the radical editor of the United States-based Irish World, impressed this development upon British Prime Minister William Gladstone when he wrote, "You are now unlike the past dealing with two Irelands. The greater Ireland is on the side of the Atlantic. This is a base of operations. We in America furnish the signs of war. We in America render moral aid." Meanwhile, Gladstone colleague and Home Secretary Sir William Harcourt proved prophetic when he observed, in former Irish rebellions, the Irish were in Ireland. We could reach their forces, cut off their reserves in men and money, and then to subjugate was comparatively easy. Now, there is an Irish nation in the United States, equally hostile with plenty of money, absolutely beyond our reach, and yet within 10 days sailed to our shores. Ultimately, an Irish American haunted by memories of famine, eviction, and huge challenges of immigrant experiences enabled them the planning and provided much of the energy that produced the 1916 Easter Rising. Support for Irish American, unified by the brutal British suppression of the Easter Rising, ultimately proved crucial in the subsequent War of Independence from 1919 to 1921 that secured freedom for the 26 countries that now constitute the Republic of Ireland. So why did I read that? You had over 7 million Irish people hit the shores of the United States between 1820 and 1870. And as we read in previous bills, they were a mighty political force. So much so they were encouraging the United States to do something about the famine and the political situation in Ireland. So you can't tell me that politics doesn't work. You can't tell me that numbers don't work. It states it right here that it does work. They were able to get the United States to be involved in Ireland's affairs, and the United States had no desire to be involved in Ireland's affairs because you have so many people up north that was voting. They forced them to do it. So now you understand.
Remember gangs in New York.
Right.
Remember gangs in New York. What did they learn? They organized.
Exactly. So not only that, but now you're talking about, right, Oak Cliff said 10 days. Yeah, it took 10 days to sell. What happened to 2 months? Anyway. Yeah, it takes 3 months to sell across the Atlantic. Why does it only take 10 days to sell across the Atlantic now? Because they're not selling across the Atlantic. They're selling across the North Pole. With that being said, they were talking about individuals that had massive amounts of money and political control and clout. Now you understand why there are so many police officers in Boston. Why there are a lot of police chiefs in Boston. Why? Police officers are elected? The chiefs are elected officials, right?
Yep.
Think about it. They are gathered together, and they have the numbers to get the county officials to do what they need to do because they're in their own areas, they're in their own jurisdictions. They have the numbers
to vote at their own end.
So for people that says that voting don't work, that's a lie. It's not true. So I just wanted to put that out there. So,
I mean, not to be funny, how you think they dominate NYPD to this day?
Exactly. So again, all they did was they took what we did and they mastered it. Tribes, think about it, when you go up north, especially in the Boston area, who are the majority of your police officers? The Irish. Who are the majority of your firefighters?
Irish.
You see what I'm saying? So they have a specific job to do because that's the job they decided to do. And they're basically taking on the tribe mentality that our ancestors had that we no longer do. We don't have things that we are known for as a tribe because we're so busy trying to be Europeanized. Something to think about.
And if you look at, check this out, if you look at all these immigrant groups that came and you look at the areas on where they went, if you notice, they policed themselves. They manage the municipalities in their own cities.
Say that part again. I don't think they heard you.
If you study the immigration, the cities to where these people went, they basically police themselves. They manage their municipalities of their cities. They elect people from their walks of life to represent them. I mean, really look at it. That's what's happening. It makes hit it right on the head. Everybody doing what our ancestors did but us.
Like James said, everybody had a job to do. Everybody had families that were known for doing things, and that's what you did. That's what your tribe did. We got away from that because we wanted to be Europeanized. We wanted to be like them. So what do? We get educated in their schools. We get involved in their sororities and their fraternities, and we forget who we are. And then we propagate and promote the history of us that they promote. That's where you get the out of Africa theory. That's where you get the Darwin theory, meaning we came from monkeys. Where do you think all this stuff comes from? That's not something that we taught ourselves. That was something that we learned from the European colonizers. All that stuff that they teach is what we learn. But the funny thing about that stuff is that nobody in any other country supports that history. Nobody in any other country supports that knowledge. We're the only idiots that do it. You go look up anybody's archives, and the United States history as it's depicted is not supported by any other country. Why is that? Because everybody know they lying but us. We steady just walking around believers. That's why I say when people get in debates with people, they have a degree. That's stupid. Here's my mentality. If I'm going to invest $75,000 in an education, I'm going to do everything I can to defend the education based off what they taught me. And whatever you show me, I cannot, based off my own arrogance, agree to it, because now I am proving or agreeing that I made a $75,000 investment in a lie. Who you know is going to admit that? Who you know is going to admit that? I don't care how much information you show somebody. Somebody takes that type of investment in something, $75,000, $20,000, $15,000, depending on what it is. No one's going to admit that they were lied to, they were duped, and they believe a system that is fraudulent. Ain't nobody gonna believe that, because now you saying they're wrong. And the first thing they indoctrinated us with is, if you are wrong, you fail.
Yep.
See, that's the difference between employees, and employers. As a business owner, you don't need to have a high rate of success to generate income. You only need a success rate of 33%, 3 out of 10. But they teach you in school, you have to have a success rate of 70%, 7 out of 10. So if you go to a university and you learn quote unquote black history, and then someone talks to you about being an Indian, but you've already invested $25,000 in your education, and you got this professor that you love, that you got great grades, and they told you that you was right. And then someone talks to you about being an Indian, what do you think you're gonna do? Why would you believe a person? And again, take yourself and put yourself in an educated person's perspective, because based off of what they were taught and how they were educated. Why would I believe an uneducated Indian telling me about me being an Indian when this professor that I spent $100 or $200 on their books, and I went to class every rising or every other rising, that told me that I was great, that told me that I was smart? Why would I believe you when I paid somebody to tell me something different? Why? Makes no sense. Which goes back to what I say. So the point of arguing with an educated individual is stupid. It makes no sense. And I'm gonna tell you exactly how it makes no sense. I'm gonna tell you the hypocrisy and the blind arrogance of how we look at stuff. The majority of your billionaires never even finished college. The majority of your billionaires never went to college, but they hire people who did. I'm gonna say it again. The majority of your millionaires and your billionaires never went to college, but they hire people who did. Now, if you've ever sat down with a billionaire or a millionaire and talked to them, they are the least arrogant, and they have the least education when it comes to academia. Why is it that people with the most education have the most arrogant, but they need the people with the least education to pay them? I'm gonna say that again. Why is it the people with the most income and the least education are the most humble, but the people with the highest education need the people with the least education to pay them? That is the arrogance that our academic society lives in. There are people with doctorate degrees that can't get a job because they look at the form of employment as beneath them, but because they don't know business, they fail miserably. But they're so arrogant that you can't tell them anything because they know everything. Well, if they knew everything, they would know how to run a business, right? So I say all this to say, what good does it do to argue against somebody that's academically trained. And what do they teach you when you get to the corporate world? I know, because I've been in the corporate world. In order to get a raise, you have to do what? Increase your education, i.e. your indoctrination. The majority of people I've been in two fields that are highly, that requires a lot of quote unquote additional training. IT and accounting. You are forever updating your training in these two fields. So you're forever being indoctrinated, and you're forever raising your fees and forever being more arrogant. And why is it when educated people talk to each other, they base their reverence off of how many degrees somebody has? The more degrees you have, the smarter you're supposed to be, right? But what happens when you get to 360 degrees? Two things happen. You either get 4 right angles or you go into a circle. So basically, you're chasing your tail. So how important are degrees?
I have a word for that. I actually titled that.
I'm listening.
I'm typing and you read it and tell me if it's okay to say.
So, and again, please don't knock what I'm saying, because I have 2 children. They ain't children, they grown folks that actually went to school, did very well in school. So I'm not knocking academia, but what I'm trying to explain to you is it does no good to debate with people in college or debate with people with a degree, because they're going to believe what they paid into, which is a system that teaches them to believe that if you do not have an 80 or a 90 or above, you are a failure. But the people that they receive their income from don't teach that and don't believe that. So it's literally idiotic to debate with a Pan-African. Like they say, it's like wrestling with a pig. Only the pig likes it. So, if I hurt your feelings, I pissed you off, I'm sorry, but that's the facts.
What's that saying? Be careful with arguing with a fool. Those who are watching can't tell the difference.
That's funny. Yeah, this is a morning show, so I don't know if we want to put that in there, but that is I do love.
I'm just saying that's what I call it.
How about mental vomit? He who can spew the most the fastest, or she who can spew the most the fastest. Regurgitating somebody that's, but think about it. Regurgitating something that somebody fed you.
Okay, regurgitation. Okay, yeah.
Because that's all you're doing. You're regurgitating something that somebody fed you. You've been indoctrinated into a system that teaches you that if you don't have at least a 90%, you are a failure, which is the dumbest thing on the planet, because business teaches you all you need is a 30% success rate and you can become a millionaire. So either the academic world is wrong or the business world is wrong. But the academic world teaches you to get a job in business. I'll wait.
Think about it.
I'll wait. Anybody want to have a conversation on the discourse about this one? Because this is where you're gonna lose.
Mute.
Give you another example of what I mean by that. If every business owner decided to follow what they was taught in college and go get a job, how many jobs would there be?
That's
Be
like
none.
an X and Y problem. Which one is the X and which one is the Y?
I'm gonna do something right quick. I'm gonna type in how many people are employed by Microsoft. Then I'm gonna type in how many people are employed by Google. There are more than 100,000 people employed by Google. And that's a parent company. See, people make stuff more difficult than it's supposed to be. I try to keep it simple, 5th grade level type stuff. Now I'm gonna find out how many people are employed by Microsoft. $144,000 people work in Microsoft. Now, all right. So my question was, if everybody that ran a business in the United States decided to go get a job, how many people would be out of work? See, I'm gonna ask the questions that don't nobody want to ask. I'm gonna talk about the stuff that don't nobody want to talk about because everybody's scared. That's 158 million. 158 million people are employed in corporate America. We're not talking about in the fast food industry. We're talking about in corporate America. There are 158 million people employed in corporate America. So if business owners decided to follow what they teach in school, there will be over 158 million people out of a job. I'm gonna repeat that. If business owners decided to do what they taught you in school to do, which was go get a job, there will be 158 million people out of a job. Why does that make sense? And y'all wanna argue with academics. Okay. Anthropologists, archaeologists, where do they get their money from? They get their money from grants. Where do grants come from? Anybody? Anybody? Anybody?
Would that be business?
Businesses, private foundations, public foundations, nonprofits. But y'all want to argue with people based off of science that is controlled by business owners. Y'all need to go sit down somewhere. Just because y'all want to sound smart. So what's the purpose of debating with a Pan-African again? What's the purpose of debating with somebody with a religious ideology again? To go save some people? You better be trying to save yourself. People don't follow what you say, they follow what you do. They follow results. If they see that you're not getting any results, why would they follow you? I don't care how right you are. It don't matter how right you are. Why do most people go to mega churches versus smaller churches? Because the people that go to mega churches appear to be generating more income. And I'm not talking about the pastors, I'm talking about the people that go to the church. People don't do what you do. I mean, they don't do what you say. They follow what you do. So it doesn't matter what you're saying. If what you're saying isn't to line up and look like it has some type of success, people don't care about how good it sounds. You're only going to get a small handful of people, which goes back to what I'm saying. There is no point in arguing or debating with somebody because it's stupid. It's a waste of time. So you're going to spend 4 to 5 hours every other day debating somebody that's got a job. They can pay doing their off time, basically, because they're owned by that company. 9 times out of 10, they can't even go get another job. And if you think I'm lying, go look up some of the policies for these companies. They don't want you to work outside of what you currently do. Look at some of the hiring practices of places like Target and Walmart. The way they set your schedule up, it makes it hard for you to go get another job. It's pointless, but you have these so-called smart people debating with people that's getting paid regardless. To me, that's stupid. But what do I know? So, Bones, anybody got anything they want to add? Oh, I got plans today.
You nailed
Hot
it.
mic.
Somebody said hot mic. What happened?
Silicone oven mitts.
Really?
But you nailed it. It all goes back to minding your business. Really. Taking responsibility of your affairs. Don't get caught up in the illusion of what things are. Look at it for what it is. And just take the information and apply it to better the situation. Like I said, you said it all.
My apologies for going on a rant. Some things just don't make sense. What'd you say, no sellout?
I said you said the rant in the chat.
Never mind. There we go. See, I'm talking all on mute. Just a bad thing all the way around. It's not good today. It's not good. So.
Mic check.
Yeah, I got you. What you got?
Peace to the panel. Peace to the chat. Peace. Grand rising, y'all.
Exactly. So what do you got to contribute to the conversation?
Contribute. I thought this was free. It's a donation.
conversation. Thoughts. Mental vomit.
I guess that's a no.
Oh, I missed the question. What was it?
There'd be a no from no.
Mic check.
Wait, what was the question?
I was just wanting to know, after I met on that 20-minute diatribe, anybody had any comments, complaints, critiques,
Wait, you said after the 20 million what?
20-minute rant I went on.
Oh.
I want to know. Did you just tune out, Gabby, and just ignore me?
I didn't. I apologize. I mean,
I'm joking. That's okay.
you made the mic hot like fire, so yeah.
Die line.
But it's true. It's true. And it goes back to what was the main thing. The main goal was to do what? Separate the Indian from the man. Make you forget who you are. That's what it's designed to do. And it doesn't mean because you go, it's bad. No, you go. You get what you need and you bring it back to build. You don't go and get caught up in it. You must always remember what it is, what it's designed to do.
Exactly, because what happens is we get caught up in the pressure of a job. The more money you make, the more expenses you have. But now you got to go make more money. Whereas if we did what we normally do, keep our expenses low, and then build from there, you won't have to worry about that stuff. But most people, when they get raises, what do? They go get a new car. They go buy a new house. Putting ourselves further in debt. Ask me how I know. Ask me how I know. Go ahead. Ask.
How do you know, TMH?
I was one of the biggest contributors to the I'm an employee. I deserve this new car. I deserve this bigger house. I deserve this big screen TV. I deserve it. You know what? I got exactly what I deserve. More debt and more enslavement.
And that's all it is.
Baby, I deserve.
So I'm not speaking from a standpoint of being on, quote unquote, a high horse and pointing my finger down at the people that are employed. Now, y'all have heard me say this once, so I continue to say it again. Had the company not decided to release me, I would still be working. So I'm not saying it from a standpoint of I walked away from my job and was never able to return again. I was forced into business ownership. So I, by no stretch of the imagination, am thumbing my nose down at people that are employed, because the only reason why I'm not employed right now is because I was let go. So just want to put that out there and tell it like it is. But what I'm saying is, the sooner that we get ourselves in a position to free ourselves from having to have a job, now you have more options, if that makes sense.
Thank you for saying that.
Thank you for saying what I say.
No, what you continue to say about you're not thumbing your nose down at people when you speak on jobs and having one. Some people have to have a job. Some people can own a business, some people can't. But yeah, I like the encouragement. I appreciate it.
I mean, but it's the truth. Here's one thing. Here's one thing y'all gonna know about me. As you call me too much honesty, I'm gonna tell the truth because, you know, it's easy to. Okay, let me break it down like this. I tell the truth because my memory ain't that good, and I ain't trying to remember every lie I done told. So if my father always told me you never have to remember a lie that you never told. So.
Oh man.
You gotta remember. You ain't gotta remember. So,
that's what's up. That's what's up. Man, how many people need to think that way?
Keep me out of trouble. That's all I got to say about that.
You say teach me how to duck or keep me out of trouble. What'd you say?
I said it keeps me out of trouble.
Oh, okay. Gabby heard him say teach me how to duck.
Yeah, keep me out of trouble. Keep me out of trouble.
That's how y'all cousins. Y'all hear this. Y'all mishear the same thing.
We mishear the same thing. But she hear me when I say stuff, and I hear her when she say stuff. But we both don't hear you when you say stuff.
Y'all mishear. Y'all heard exactly what I said.
Y'all mean you mean everybody hearing the same thing?
Hold on. She just pulled that on you. I'm going on mute.
The two of y'all do not constitute everybody. There are over 7 billion people on the planet. So I'm talking about a very minute percentage of people. I'm going back on mute.
I got a
question.
It's a numbers question. I know your math is really good. If there's 3 people and 2 out of those 3 people hear the same thing and the one person doesn't, do the 2 people that hear the same thing, does that make them a majority? I'm on mute.
You said does it make them the majority? I mean, makes for a good story, I guess. But I'm talking to more than 3 people, and more than 3 people hear me. So what's your point?
I have no point. I do apologize for the inconvenience.
No, you ain't gotta apologize. I'm just trying to understand. Help a brother understand. Help me out.
Keep me out of trouble. Keep me out of trouble.
You ain't messing with my trouble. TMH, we just trying to cool the mic off. TMH just trying to cool the mic off.
That's all.
Really. You know what cools the mic off?
Ice cool, don't do it.
Reading cools the mic off.
Notice how no sellout went on mute.
Yes, self-promoted. Brother self-promoted, no sellout. You ever notice how Bones go on stealth when we have these types of discourse? Everybody on mute now? Just everybody? I'm just saying.
What specifically was your question? You said Bones goes on stealth mode? Okay.
That was a question in the form of an observation.
So that was like, it's rhetorical, Farley?
I don't know how rhetorical it was. It was a question that was based off an observation. And I just wanted to know if anybody observed the same thing I observed. That's all. So, nothing more.
Baby, I observe.
You see how he be? You see how he be? Ad-libbing now. How he be background singing. You hear?
I'm just trying to help.
You just here to make us realize.
No hashtags. No hashtags. Hashtags. Oh yeah, it's Friday. Hashtags on Friday. Yeah, go ahead.
Today is not. Never mind. I'm not doing this with you. I'm not. Nope. Not even.
All right.
Not even. Not even close. I'm just gonna leave it alone. I'm not gonna do this. Gonna do. It's gonna be what's gonna be, and that's it. So, Gabby.
Yes.
Gabby the Gabster.
Would you like to finish reading?
Sure.
Do you know where we're at?
Yeah. Still the first. I think the second sentence.
You about as bad as I know sellout with that. What you trying to say? I didn't do too much reading. So what am I at?
I told you.
I thought it was 3 words in. I ain't know.
I saw this.
I just got here.
Coming. I mean.
So you was right.
Okay, so late Cold War, second sentence after 1991. Exercise, Reforger, in parentheses, from return of forces to Germany, was an annual exercise conducted during the Cold War by NATO. The exercise was intended to ensure that NATO had the ability to quickly deploy forces to West Germany in the event of a conflict with the Warsaw Pact. 2nd Squadron, 10th Cavalry, 210, with the 7th Infantry Division participated in Exercise Reforger in 1984, 1986, and 1993. 3rd Battalion, 10th Cavalry, 310th Cavalry, was activated in the 1st Cavalry Division at Fort Hood, Texas in 1977. From 1980 to 1993, 1st and 2nd Battalions provided the armored element of the 194th Armored Brigade at Fort Knox, Kentucky, while from 1980 to 1990, D troops served as the reconnaissance elements for the brigade.
Stop.
We read about the D.
Go ahead. What was you about to say?
I remember as we read about the D troop. We read about the D troop. The D troop was, if I remember correctly, the D troop was broken off. They split a cavalry up and had a small section that they split off called the D troop, if I remember correctly. We read about that though. I do remember that.
Mm-hmm.
D troop was also a part, if I'm remembering correctly, they broke off some of the Buffalo Soldiers and put them in the D troop.
Yeah. And as you'll read later on, as you'll see it when it talks about D troop and it talks about Blackjack, all they're doing is just to me, it appears that they're just trying to hide the Buffalo Soldiers and the cavalry and the importance of what they did. That was the reason why it was brought to our attention that many of the children or the grandchildren of the Buffalo Soldiers received the medals that the Buffalo Soldiers should receive when Clinton was in office. And like I said, he was in office from 92 to 2000. And they didn't get the recognition that they deserved until Clinton was in office. But it goes to show you how information is hidden and how it's propagated by our own people of it being hidden. How people steal our own, people steal the identities of us and our people. That's all I got to say about that.
keep reading.
C, about D Troop.
All right, D Troop. Oh, D Troop, Blackjack. D Troop of the 10th Cavalry Regiment was detached and moved around before settling in with the 3rd Infantry Division, 3rd Brigade. I got a question.
Go ahead.
So, how it talks about okay, how does divisions, brigades, cavalries, and regiments like they go in ranks, right? The same way like positions go in ranks, if that makes sense. So what would be the larger of it? So how this is saying the 10th Cavalry Regiment detached and moved around before settling in. So which is like, how does it go? Like brigade, division, regiment, cavalry? How does it go as far as I guess paying attention to the larger group of what it is, of what it's titled, to understanding the smaller groups of what they're titled, if that makes sense. Like
I'm looking it up now.
You said what?
I'm looking it up now.
Oh. Like, you know how, like, I'm in my house, but I'm in my house, on my street, in my neighborhood, in my city, in my county, in my state.
Yep.
Can you say that again, Gabby?
Which part?
You said you're in your house on your
couch,
so
it's
upside
me.
down and inside out. What you saying?
Okay, it's me. I'm in my house, on my street, in my neighborhood, in my city, in my county, in my state.
So if you look at the screen, I can break it down for you.
Okay.
Okay, so you have fire teams, which are 2 to 4 people. You have a squad or a section, which is 5 to 14 people. You have a platoon or a troop, which is 15 to 45 people. You have a company, a battery, or a squadron, which is anywhere from 80 to 150 people.
Okay.
You have a regiment, a battalion.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put the link in the chat.
Okay.
A battalion or a cohort, which is anywhere from 300 to 800 people. And your lieutenant colonel or your major is in charge of that. Then you have your regiment, your brigade, and your legion, which is anywhere from 1,000 to 5,500 people. And that's normally has a colonel or brigadier general in control. Then you have your division, which is between 10,000 and 25,000 people. And that's normally controlled by your major generals. Then you have your corps, which is 30,000 to 50,000, where you have your lieutenant general oversees those.
Is this for Army? Or is this all of them?
This is Army.
Okay.
Because that's what we're talking about. Then you have your field army, which is 100,000 to 300,000 men. And that's normally looked over by the general or lieutenant general. Then you have your army group or your front, which is two plus field armies. Okay, so that's basically anywhere from 600,000 on. Then you have your region or your theater, which is basically 4 plus army groups.
So when they're talking about a regiment, brigade, they're literally talking about 1 to 5,500 people. And when they're talking about a battalion, they're talking about 300 to 800 people.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so they're talking about a good number of people this whole time.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of people to be fighting battles and wars all at the same time.
And that's what Bones was talking about. Where all these people coming from?
Yeah. I mean, that's a lot of Africans.
You stupid.
Yeah. We've been looking for him. She found him. I mean, come on now.
That's a lot of, no. That's a lot of Africans with access to weapons to turn on their slave masters.
Right.
Now you see how stupid that sound? You've been whipping me on my back. You've been whipping me and my family on our backs for hundreds of years for not picking cotton as fast as you want to pick cotton. Then all of a sudden, during wartime, you gonna give me a gun and don't think I'm gonna shoot. You don't think you're gonna be the first person I shoot? Then you better go home somewhere.
Oh, it says when putting the cursor over the division, it says is a large military unit formation usually consisting between 10,000 and 20,000 soldiers. Infantry divisions during world wars range from 8,000 to 30,000 in nominal strength. So they increased so during war,
Yeah, you gotta account for loss.
Yeah. And it says 2 or more brigades may constitute a division. So when it talks about different brigades, that's a whole division. Different brigades coming together makes up a division. Okay.
Make sense?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just asking, does it make sense?
Yeah, it does. It says a battalion is a military unit. The use of the term battalion varies by nationality and branch of service.
You said varies by nationality and branch of service.
I put my cursor over, you know how battalion is in blue letters, and it'll give you like a link in the chart.
Yeah.
Can you see that?
Yeah, I see it. Yeah, it says it varies by nationality and branch of service.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Why? Let's see what we get. So the term was first used in Italian as battaglione no later than the 16th century. It derived from the Italian word for battle, battaglia. The first use of battalion in English was in the 1580s, and the first use to mean part of a regime is from 1708.
It said a battalion is the smallest unit capable of limited independent operations, meaning it includes an executive staff with a support and service unit, headquarters and headquarters company. The battalion must have a source of resupply to enable it to sustain operations for more than a few days. This is because a battalion's complement of ammunition, expendable weapons, hand grenades and disposable rocket launchers, water, rations, fuel, lubricants, replacement batteries, replacement parts, batteries, and medical supplies normally consists of only what the battalion soldiers and the battalion's vehicles can carry. In addition to sufficient personnel and equipment, usually at least 2 primary mission companies and one mission support company, to conduct operations, as well as a limited administrative and logistics capability, the commander staff coordinates and plans operations. A battalion's subordinate companies and their platoons are dependent upon the battalion headquarters for company control, communications, and intelligence. In the battalion service and support structure, the battalion is part of a regime, brigade, or group, depending on the branch of service. What does that sound like to y'all?
Tech.
Don't that sound like a corporation?
Yeah.
Battalion is the smallest unit capable of limited independent operations, meaning it includes an executive staff, board of directors, with support and services, being able to sustain itself. So the battalion must have sources to resupply to enable it to sustain operations, right? In order to carry out a said job or said duty for more than a few days. This is because a battalion's complement of ammunition, expendable weapons, hand grenades, and disposable rockets, water, rations, fuel, lubricants, replacement batteries, and medical supplies normally consists of only what the battalion soldiers and battalion vehicles can carry. The only difference with this is that this battalions they don't resupply themselves. They get resupplied from a brigade. They have to order their stock or re-up from a brigade. So it's more like a franchise. They are limitedly independent. They are not self-sufficient. Which is why when you have the military and you cut off their supply of food, right? And you cut off their water, they're easy to get captured. And if you look at it from that way, you'll understand why it was important for the colonizers to cut off water and food from the Indians. Because they got water and food from the land. They didn't have to be supplied by a corporation or a company. I cut off your supplies, I now make you dependent upon me.
Right.
And if you depend upon me, what am I now? I'm your God. Oh.
Okay. Want me to finish reading?
Yes, where are you? Hold on. Because I done went off on a. Hold on. I'm sorry, what? Oh, yeah. Got it. Ready when you are.
On the 25th of June, 1958, D Troop was reconstituted in the regular army and redesignated at headquarters and headquarters troop. Army and redesignated at headquarters and headquarters troop. Okay. 4th Reconnaissance Squadron, 10th Cavalry Regiment. On the 1st of September 1963, the unit was redesignated at Troop D, 10th Cavalry, and assigned to Fort Knox, Kentucky on the 15th of April 1968. The troop became part of the 5th Battalion, 33rd Armor Regiment of the 194th Armored Brigade.
Stop. As you can see, they're still shuffling and moving them around.
Mm-hmm.
So there was reconstituted a regular army and redesignated as headquarters and headquarters troop 4th Reconnaissance. So they're still moving around. Since 10th Cavalry Regiment on 1 September 1963, the unit was redesignated as Troop D. So now you have a 1st Squadron, which is basically anywhere from 80 to 150 men, moved to or absorbed into the 10th Cavalry Regiment. And we know a regiment is how many people? Hold on. A regiment
is... Oh, go ahead.
No, you good. A regiment is anywhere from 1,000 to 5,500. So, something to think about. Heck, damn it.
Swear jar.
I said, dag nabbit, stop it.
Twice, 2 times now.
You know what? I can't with you.
Huh?
So now you get a better idea of what's happening. They're taking these smaller units, they're breaking them up into smaller units, and then they place those smaller units into larger units, making it easier to hide them. So you take 180 men, or you take 1,000 men, break them up to different groups of 100 to 180 men, and then you take those 100 to 180 men and put them into a group of 1,000. So it's easier to hide them. That's what they're basically doing. It's like shuffling a deck, if that makes sense. Go ahead, Gabby. If you're able to get back to where you was at.
Yeah. In October 1999, the 3rd Infantry Division, mechanized, begins its transition to Limited Conversion Division XXI, parentheses, LCD XXI. You can count that. I'll let you do that.
I know the XXI is 21 because X is 10, then the 1 is 1. I forgot what the LCD is. I'm not even gonna do that.
I was about to say learning disability. I apologize. I couldn't help it. Okay. Under this force structure, mechanized brigades received organic cavalry organizations. On the 16th of June 2000, D Troop 10th Cavalry Regiment was reactivated and assigned to the 3rd Brigade, 3rd Infantry Division, mechanized at Fort Benning, Georgia. What does that mean?
Mechanized means is you have vehicles.
Okay, under the force structure, mechanized. So the brigades were giving vehicles?
Right, because cavalry was originally horses. So you had some that now the military no longer uses horses. They have Humvees, Jeeps, tanks, and all that good stuff. So a lot of the cavalry, when they got rid of the horses, they turned them into foot soldiers or infantry. So you went from having a vehicle to having to get a ride.
Interesting.
So now when they say you place in a mechanized division, that means your division has vehicles. That doesn't mean everybody gets a vehicle, but your division has vehicles. Whether it's a mortar platoon, whether they're Jeeps, whether they're tanks, whether they're Humvees, or what have you.
Okay. In March 2003, the 3rd Brigade participated along with the rest of the 3rd Infantry Division, mechanized, in the initial operations against Iraq as part of Operation Iraqi Freedom. The 3rd Infantry Division returned to Georgia in late 2003. In mid-2004, it began the transformation to the U.S. Army's new modular force structure, which saw D Troop 10th Cavalry inactivated.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another dismantlement, right?
Yep.
So now the 10th Cavalry is
It's inactive. It doesn't mean it's got deactivated. It's just inactive. Meaning it's basically they push the pause button. They in hiatus. Okay. If I had to guess. Let me see what it means. Let's see what. Hold on. So they have instructions for inactivating or reflagging units. I'll put this in a link. So they got instructions on how it was done or what it means. Instructions for inactivating or reflagging units. Let me do this. It says each unit should appoint a single point of contact who will work internally within the organization to ensure the following actions are completed, and it will coordinate with the Center of Military History to ensure that the unit's records are sent to the appropriate repository. The point of contact may also be the same person who's working in the high headquarters records managers to ensure that the records are preserved. Oh, so whenever you inactivate somebody, you're basically putting their records. The first thing that happens is their records have to go into a depository.
so like sealed records.
Yeah, it says the Field Programs and Historical Service Division of the U.S. Army Center of Military History has created this information summary to be used by U.S. Army units that are being inactivated or reflagged to provide points of contact regarding the disposition of various types of unit records. Because remember, the military keeps records of everything.
Mm-hmm.
So before you do anything, you have to have those records go somewhere so that nothing gets lost.
Mm-hmm.
This is unit historical property includes flags, guidons. Flags, guidons, and other heralded items or objects that are historically significant to the unit. The unit point of contact will contact CMH as noted in the previous paragraph for specific disposition instructions for unit historical property. So basically, these are instructions on how to inactivate or reflag a company. Basically, a name change. If that makes sense. So. All right. So hopefully that answers the question. That was a good question, though. Thank you, Gabby.
Yay, thank you.
So now it goes into talking about the 21st century of the 10th Cavalry and the military operations. So basically what happens is that they have not disappeared. They've just been moved and shuffled around. So what have we learned, boys and girls?
Do your genealogy. Pay attention.
Grand Rising, David Corey.
David Corey.
You alright?
Hmm?
Nothing.
Oh, I was
Yes,
reading.
Jay.
I was reading two things on. Okay, never mind. This mute button should be automatic. Oh, wait, am I reading?
No, I was talking while I was on mute. Not bad.
Oh, okay.
So basically, what we are looking at is the 10th Cavalry shuffling around and moving stuff around, being moved around and being hidden, so that the accomplishments are not recognized or they're not given credit for. At least that would be the way it appears.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of stuff is being archived to make it seem like history. So then they can get moved and shuffled somewhere else, placed in another brigade, regime, or what have you, under the guise of saving it for history. But at the end of the day, that's not what they're doing. They're hiding the Buffalo Soldiers.
Right. I mean, all I'm saying is, after reading that and seeing that they can have anywhere, they can have up to 25 to 30,000 people. That's a lot of people to be hiding and shuffling. And if I'm misunderstanding that, just let me know. But I mean,
no, you're right.
That's a lot.
You are absolutely right. And basically, what people can do is they can actually, if you have people that are family members that are members of the Buffalo Soldiers, you'll need to find out what department they were in. I mean, what unit. So if they were 9th Cavalry, 10th Cavalry, 24th or 25th Cavalry, then you would have to go and look up the historical records.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see, where was it? Because I just put in there this link right here. Instructions for inactive or reflagging units. You want to get in contact with the U.S. Army Center of Military History.
Mm.
To see if you can get the history on them. Because it says when a unit is deactivated or inactive, the first thing that happens is that there needs to be a point of contact to ensure that military history, to ensure that the unit's records are sent to the appropriate repository. So the responsibility comes from the U.S. Army Center of Military History. So if you need to get some records pulled, that's where you need to go.
Right.
To find out information on your ancestors, if they were Buffalo soldiers. And in order to know, to better help them facilitate that, so they don't give you the runaround, knew which cavalry unit they were in.
Yeah.
Some of the information you'll be able to pull up. The good news is if you know their first name, last name, and social security number, you'll be able to pull that information up. Because that's how the military files information on soldiers through their social.
Right.
And of course, branch of service. So if they were regular Army, they would be regular Army, first name, last name, the social security number, and they'll be able to pull it up. And you should be able to retrieve copies of your ancestors' military records, records of the units and things of that nature. Any medals that they would have won or would have received, there's always copies of those citations in there.
Right.
So that's the one thing I wanted people to take away from this. If they don't get anything else out of anything that we've said, know that if you have family members that are part of the 10th Cavalry, the 9th Cavalry, the 25th, the 24th Cavalry, and you go back and look at some of these builds that we did on the Buffalo soldiers, also depending on the year, they could have been absorbed into another regiment. Right. So keep that in mind when you're tracing the history on your ancestors based off of the cavalry units that they were in. So with that, we're gonna go ahead and let these good people get on with their day and be productive citizens. So we'll be looking at. Go ahead. You good? Go ahead.
Well, even though we're not finishing reading, I just noticed it, and I guess it's because I don't know. But why? All right. You see how it says 21st century?
Yeah.
Why is it considered the 21st century?
Well, you got to realize in order for a century to happen, it has to have been the first 100 years, from 0 to 100, is the first century, right?
100 years is a century, right?
Yeah, because 1,000 years is a millennium.
Right.
Or am I misunderstanding? So anything that happened in the 1800s is the 19th century.
Right. So anything from 1900s to 2000 is considered the 20th century, right?
Right. And anything past the 2000s is the 21st century.
21st century.
Right. So they're talking about 2000. Remember, we're hitting 2020 next month.
Right, but it won't.
So we're in the 21st
till,
century. No, but we're in the 21st century. We're in the 21st
like it's
century.
a century ahead of. I don't know. Okay, never mind.
No, I understand what you're saying. I mean, the time is off, but that's the way that it's explained.
Okay.
When we was in the 1900s, we was in the 20th century.
Right.
And once we reached the 2000s, we're in the 21st century. So I don't know if that helps or makes it worse.
Okay.
So, outside of any questions, if you got any more questions, now's the time to ask them before we let these good people get on about their business. Yes, no, maybe so. Gabby?
Yes.
Closing remarks?
Okay, yeah. Making decisions. Never cut a tree down in the wintertime. Never make a negative decision in the low time. Never make your most important decision when you are in your worst moods. Wait, be patient. The storm will pass. The spring will come.
Just like that, huh? You just gonna drop the mic. You're just gonna say it. You're gonna split your verse, drop the mic, and this somebody else gotta pick it up, huh?
This one, I will say this. This one, no sellout shared with me, so it's only right that I share it with everyone. The fact that I can plant a seed and it becomes a flower, share a bit of knowledge and it becomes another's, smile at someone and receive a smile in return, are to me continual spiritual exercises.
Hey, what can I say? Shout out to Gabby. Oh no, I can't add anything. I'm good. Peace to the people. Peace to the panel. Peace to you, Bones. Peace to you, TMH. Gabby. Everybody listening. We'll see y'all mañana. Peace, y'all. And y'all good in my eyes today because y'all ain't hate on the board, so it's cool. It's cool. We cool.
That's what we doing.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's what we doing.
Okay, wait. I lied. I got one more, and this is like one of my favorite ones.
Go ahead.
Okay.
I mean, I ain't cut you off, beautiful. I ain't cut you off. I ain't cut you off. I ain't cut you off. All right. No, you got it. You got it. You got it. I'm gonna yield the mic. Because you're a foreigner.
Oh, I'm gonna have his voice stuck in my head when I read something else today. Can't read nothing. Okay, okay. There is only one time when it is essential to awaken. The time is now. Even with our eyes open, we sometimes go through our days as if we're sleepwalking. These are the only days we have. We need to be aware of them. That's it.
Okay.
Peace to the panel. Peace to the chat. Peace, blessings, love to everyone. Have a beautiful, wonderful day.
Okay. So, hold on. Oh, shucky ducky quack quack. We got somebody up in here.
Just want to say greetings to everyone on the panel. Greetings to everyone in the chat. Just been listening in and wanted to say good job, Guado.
Wait.
Did he just do that?
Yes.
Wow. Wow. I'm done. And of course, I gotta go after that. I'm doing my part and Bones' part. You don't like me. It's okay. So I want to say peace to the new subscribers, the new registrants on the webpage, and the new subscribers on the YouTube platform. We definitely appreciate y'all. Peace to the silent majority. The Autonomous Assembly silent majority, aka A2 side match. Information that you're constantly sharing in the forums and the emails that y'all sending that let us know what's going on in your community. We definitely appreciate that. Peace to the baddest, the most awesomest, and the smartest, smartest. It's
smartest. It's smart. See, I knew it. Y'all some fake Indians, yo. You're a hater.
This is the smartest chat ever. Whether it's on our website in the global chat, whether it's in the YouTube chat, we definitely appreciate y'all. All y'all do, keeping it real. And holding people's feet to the fire, making people prove what they say. Asking for receipts, asking for proof, because you know proof is not a problem over here, partner. I want to say
they know.
Thank you to Gabby for reading, researching, and being the backup singer, being the freak to No Sellouts Frat. Appreciate you. Appreciate No Sellout for his always timely comments and satire. Even though we wish you do more of it, but it's neither here nor there. Appreciate Bones for all he do. Matter of fact, he's handling business right now, which is the reason why I'm doing the closeout for him. This man works tirelessly for not only his family, but for Autonomous Assembly. So definitely appreciate all that he does. Appreciate James Doodle Vision for the Indian information that he always provides. The work that he's been doing since before there was a YouTube, before there was a Blog Talk Radio. Appreciate him for just being him. Even when he makes those micro mic drops, definitely appreciate you, James. Cop Indio, for somebody that's always busy, and when I say busy, legitimately busy, he always makes time for us when he can, so definitely appreciate him. Carrie Bay the Carpenter, thank you for your insight and helping us understand the Moorish Science Temple and giving us a better understanding of these laws that these people are promoting and how we can hem people up. Appreciate your insight on that, Carrie. Appreciate you. Shout out to LJ Freak. Shout out to everybody that has contributed. Shout out to Danielle Jeffers and Dofa Degrees, helping students graduate debt-free from college. That's what they choose to do. And yeah, at the end of the day, we're here to help people do their genealogy. That's what we do these shows for. Give you a proper perspective, give you exposure, so you can follow the timelines and match the right time with the right dates in the right place so that you can find your ancestors. Public service announcement. We are not in support. When I say we, I'm talking about the Autonomous Assembly. We are not in support of any individual promoting separatism from the government Any individual supporting that the government has no jurisdiction. Any individual making declarative statements or claims of separation from the government. Our goal is to work with the government and get our people back in their correct standing, because they stepped out of their standing, and our goal is to help them get back in their standing and basically get what was left to them. We're not here to overthrow anybody or anything. We just want to do our part and won't be left alone. And for those scammers and schemers and separatist Moors and sovereigns who want to come over here and infiltrate, don't do it. Please don't do it, because you will be wearing iron shackles. Stay where you at. Stay away from me. Stay away from us. Stay away from the tribes. At the end of the day, it does us no good to present this information. One, if we're not going to use it. Two, if we're not going to share it. And three, if we're not going to pay it forward. This information is here for a purpose. Don't wait for somebody else to get started to doing it. Don't wait for somebody in your community to get started. Be the change you want to see in the world. Right, David Corey? Be the Indians and not the man.
Say that part again. That was deep.
What's that?
What you just said about you.
Oh, yeah. Stop waiting for people to do something. Be the change you want to see in the world. If you're not doing it, if no one in your community is doing what you need done, then you do it. Stop lamenting and crying about somebody not doing it. You do it. So that's all I'm saying. At the end of the day, we're here for you. We're here to help, but we cannot make you do anything. We're here to expose you to information. We're here to put you to, put things in proper perspective. And from their point, you got to make your own decisions. We know where we stand. We know who we are. We're just trying to help you get to that understanding for yourself. Because it's not our job to tell you who you are. Or where you are, for that matter of fact. So, hopefully that makes sense. And as always, it's great being able to kick it with the relatives. And until tomorrow, we leave you with peace.
Peace, y'all.
Peace, everybody.
Shout out to Giovanni.
It don't even matter what Bones is here now. Y'all still gonna cut up, huh?
What you mean?
We cut up because he ain't here.
You need to cut up.
Yeah, I'm cutting y'all right now.
Warning, warning, warning. Hard hats, pickaxe, shovels, boots required.